Simon, how's it going?
Going good. How are you doing?
Good, good. Good to tackle a maybe a bit of an interesting, different topic to what we usually do, but still super relevant. I mean, really interesting, and I think it's going to set a very interesting direction for social media. So basically, for people listening, if you didn't know, a jury just found Meta and YouTube negligent for deliberately engineering addiction in children. The plaintiff, um, a young lady named Kaye, started using YouTube at 6 and Instagram at 9. By the end of elementary school, she posted like 284 videos. By 10, she had anxiety and depression. Basically, through this court case, she was awarded 6 million in damages. Meta's on the hook for 70% of that. YouTube, or Google, I should say, for 30%. And there is a just chain reaction of lawsuits that are kind of pending. Have been kind of waiting around to see what the results of this case was. So we should be seeing a lot more of these lawsuits, and it's going to be a very interesting time for social media direction.
Yeah. Well, I don't even think it's just social media. I actually think it's design in a way. Like a lot of the features that are being discussed were intentionally designed. So it's almost like
Yeah.
UX and design is more on trial than just social media because they've tried to take social media to court countless times. But I don't know if it came up in your research, but what is it, like Regulation 230 or something?
Yep.
Was a really good blocker for social media at that point because it focused too heavily on content rather than explicit design, which is a really interesting loophole that they managed to squeeze this all in. So,
Yeah, totally.
um,
Um, why don't you start us off? Why don't you break down what specifically happened?
yeah, I mean, you alluded to it, Kaylee, she's 20-ish now, sued due to the harms that she suffered as a child. It's starting social media at 6 years old is insane to hear. Like when we
That's
were
true.
reading over these case files, like, dude,
It
you have
is.
a 4-year-old. That Imagine 2 years from now, you give your 4-year-old access to like the Instagram algorithm.
My general stance on this is that my kids will not have a smartphone until they're like 18. So
Oh
to
yeah,
hear
yeah,
like someone's had, I mean, it's not my position to sit here and judge like what a family's personal uses and personal opinions on social media, but in my opinion, with like it's wild.
no,
284 videos by 10 years old. Like I think our YouTube channel has less than that, and we've been doing this every week.
yeah, and I mean it is crazy. Like not even no judgment, like you said, but I think there are already rules in place. Like, um, you should just not have your 6-year-old on Instagram, right? And I think that they do have age policies like 13 and up. So realistically, they shouldn't even be on there. They're classified as like underage.
Hmm.
Yet, like one of the things that came out of this case was all of the internal documents from court about how Meta explicitly says if we want to win big with teens, we must bring in as tweens. So like 11-year-olds were 4 times more likely to return to Instagram versus competing apps. Like someone sat down, had this data, had this research, and said, okay, well, despite the platform requiring users to be at least 13, we're going to target under 13. It's mental to me that that
Yeah,
was even a conversation, right?
it's sick. I hate it. I hate it.
And yeah, I mean, it gets so much darker when you consider the fact that Meta uh, intentionally avoided saying the word addiction.
Yeah,
I think they in their internal documents tried to frame it as like an internet use disorder. It's
yeah.
addiction.
I mean, their defense was that I mean that they're obviously trying to argue that the mental health issues predated social media use, right? Like
Yeah.
But, there's also been whistleblowers that have talked about their internal research around usability and behavioral science. And there's just so many things that point to the fact that they've been designing and engineering products for, I mean, I don't know if they would use the word addiction, but when you have a behavioral science expert involved in helping with the design and usability of something, you're trying to get people to use it as much as possible. Like that's the reality of all these applications. Otherwise, there's not as much value to advertisers. So
Yeah,
it's awful. It's terrible. I hate it all. It drives me crazy.
I know.
But hopefully, like these lawsuits start to set some sort of precedent that makes things a little bit healthier for everyone.
Yeah. I think like yeah, what's your other takes on some of the internal documents? Did you see anything? I've got a couple in the back pocket
No, go ahead.
I want
Yeah.
to pull out, but
Yeah.
just
Go ahead.
like the mental health stuff around this is really it's concerning just because they're going after children so explicitly, but
Yeah.
they're tuning into some of people's like worst tendencies to keep people on the platform. And the thing that irked me most about the internal documentation is that there was the research to back up the methods that worked for the algorithm, for the infinite scroll. Like designers were at the core of designing this experience in the way that they did, right?
Hmm.
And that's just so counter to the way that we've discussed the value of design. Like, sure, you always want to design for engagement, but when you're designing for engagement through addictive practices like a casino, you
Kids,
really have to question
you're
for
basically
kids.
the
Yeah, for
you're
kids.
basically the new smoking company,
Oh my
tobacco
God, yeah,
company.
you're into the new smoking company.
It's like,
Like I'm so annoyed at the meta design team for this, for not like pumping the brakes and being like, what are we doing? Right?
yeah, people have
Like,
tried. There's been whistleblowers. There's been multiple attempts. Like, yeah, I mean, is it realistic to imagine that an entire group of people within an organization are going to say this is not right? Probably not, because it continues to happen all the time.
yeah, no.
Um,
Well, so like, why, if they've been talking about it for so long and there's been so many whistleblowers, like, what's the shift? Can you give us some perspective on that?
yeah, let's talk about the law. So, Section 230. Um, the 1996 law, basically, it says the platforms aren't responsible for what users post on them. It's kind of what allowed the internet to scale. And
Makes sense.
for 30 years, it's basically been a bulletproof shield for the big tech. Um, so I think with this case, what's interesting is that plaintiffs didn't argue about the content; they argued about the design of the platforms. Things like you mentioned,
Got it.
infinite scroll, autoplay, push notifications, algorithmic recommendations. Yeah, just framed as deliberate engineering of addictive mechanics. Um, so they were really pushing not on the content, but on the design of the interaction, basically. Um, yeah, very
Yeah.
interesting. I'm surprised like that approach wasn't taken earlier, but I think it's just put a huge hole in Section 230 as a shield for a lot of these technology companies. Yeah, from your
Yeah.
perspective, because obviously you're, in design all the time. What do you think about the concept of engineering addiction through design? How does that feel? How does that feel when you say it? When you think of
It
it as a
feels
concept? And
it
you know what?
feels
I'm
so
sure there's a lot of other organizations I'm thinking of that do that for adults and are not social media, but are still applications combined with dark patterns that drive me absolutely insane. But that's a whole other discussion. Go ahead. Yeah. Tell me,
that's a
how
that's
does
a
that feel?
discussion for a different day. Uh Scum of the earth. Like it just makes it feels like designs crossed over into this like grimy underbelly category that's just way worse than dark patterns. Like dark patterns suck, they're annoying, they're frustrating, but like this is much more, for lack of a better word, just like straight up evil. Like
Yeah.
it's a digital casino, but you are also targeting children.
Yeah.
children. Like I think it's the audience that irks me, but it's also the fact again that someone sat down, designed this thing with this intent in mind, knowing that it was going to generate this sort of outcome of engagement and returning to the apps, like all the push notifications, the endless scrolling, the algorithmic recommendations. It's all there to hold you or to put you into a category of viewer or reader,
Mm.
right? Which is also data that is then sold to third parties. So now it gets crazier, but like you're targeting children for your own app, and then you're likely selling data on children to third parties. It's just so
Yes.
far reaching. So I think from a design perspective, it sets a lot of precedents because design has never been on trial to this extent.
Hmm.
And I've actually gotten into some pretty heated arguments on lovely LinkedIn threads about things like infinite scroll. I mentioned it once and people went straight for my throat. But like these tools are not inherently bad. Infinite scroll, it is really good when I'm going through a long list of data and
Of memes.
spreadsheets, like of memes. Yes. No, no, I don't, you know, it has its use case. So does autoplay. It has its use case. Notifications, I can think of many positives. So it's almost like the Meta and Google design teams took these things that actually are beneficial in design, and then they warped them into these really dark like patterns that are used for all of the wrong reasons. So to all of the designers who are listening, like just be careful with with what position you hold. Like infinite scroll is not inherently evil. It's how you
Yeah.
apply that thing. And
True.
I think that's where the conversation is getting a little bit muddied in the design world. It's that people hear infinite scroll and immediately they get defensive about it. It's like, no, it's not bad. How you're using it is likely bad. So
Hmm. Hmm.
I feel bad, like the guy who retracted, he said was the guy who invented Infinite Scroll. He was like, I regret doing it. I feel bad for him because I don't regret that we have it. It's useful in
Hmm.
some instances, but it can also be predatory in others. So that's my that's my take. We will probably see more lawsuits. But design now has a crack.
Yeah, I think, like where is the line between designing for engagement and engineering addiction? I mean, I don't know, it's pretty self-explanatory. One is literally we're talking about addiction, like talking about
Yeah.
creating addiction, which I think, at some point, um, n- for instance, with Meta, did they know they were harming kids and kept going anyways? Well, that's what internal documents suggest. So, like, you have very clearly gone beyond designing for engagement and into engineering for addiction. I think it's a very intentional, like, I don't think it's a very blurred line. I think it's a very intentional line. Um, there's a lot of effort, time and effort and overall strategic direction that needs to go into something like engineering addiction. I don't think you accidentally step into that by being a designer who's designing for engagement and then all of a sudden you're like, oh, whoops, like, oh, this thing was too engaging and now I'm creating problems. It's like, there's a very clear distinction between designing for engagement and engineering addiction. And it's just sickening, honestly.
It
Um,
is. It kind of spills over to like engineering, like radicalization as well. Like YouTube was also going under some scrutiny before with just the way that it puts people into like endless cycles of digesting like continuously escalating content. Like you go in, like I'm gonna watch this business video about websites, and then a year goes by and you're like, well, we live in a simulation. Like
I thought
it's
you were going to
just
go with lizard people.
I was yeah, I wanted to see where I was gonna go. I was very
Um, Yeah, it's a
Careful.
byproduct of engineering addiction, right? It's like
Yeah.
it's, you gotta kind of get those endorphins going.
Yeah.
Um,
The
so I,
dopamine hits.
so interestingly, this is probably a bellwether trial. What does that mean? Why does it matter?
Yeah. I mean, it was a test case. Like we got through 230. Um, I think a lot of questions around age gating social media has also come back into the fold. I know Europe is thinking like 18 plus for access to these apps. America, certain states, they're questioning it. Canada as well. And I'm here for it. Like the fact that they were targeting tweens is madness. The fact that their age allowance is 13 is also crazy. Like
Yeah.
if we're not allowing people to drive a car until 18 and like use substances until 18, like you're not a fully formed human. And social media has just proven to be a toxic social strain on the public and on youth. So I think all of these questions are really coming into the fold and people and governments are getting really serious about it. So the fact that it made it through, the fact that people have these questions and are really leaning into the outcome, we're maybe going to see more of it, but we're also going to see actual change and probably immediate change.
Hmm.
So
Yeah,
yeah,
I
I don't
mean,
know. Like what
interestingly, their stock price dropped 8% after the verdict, which is like fascinating. Probably by the time this, I mean, even during this discussion, that's probably totally back to normal. If anything, it probably has increased. I wonder, but most likely. Um,
yeah,
but yeah, I mean, I
you're
think like it's going to change. It in theory, it's going to potentially um, change the landscape when it comes to
totally.
these applications and how we use them. Hopefully. I
Yeah.
think it's going to take a long time. Like they're even appealing the verdict in that case. So it's like they're just going to
Yeah.
keep going through like all the legal roadblocks you can in order to sustain this decision for as long as possible. But yeah, I mean it's huge. Like it's really going to set the stage for what is allowed in the future from a social media perspective, and maybe outside of it too. There's lots of other apps that are not social based that I think encourage addiction and just like really bad practices. So yeah,
Hmm.
interesting.
Yeah. You, in our conversations prior to this, you kept drawing it back to like big tobacco, like,
Yeah.
which I thought was a really relevant case. When did that happen? That was like,
Oh my gosh. I think the settlement was in 98 or something like that.
oh my God. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like big tobacco's fairly accurate proxy for this.
Yeah. I mean, I think they also had internal research that showed harm, and the companies trying to minimize it. And yeah, I mean, there's a really famous photo of like bunch of heads of tobacco companies in Congress under oath swearing. There's like, and I'm sure people have seen this image. It's like 8 or 10 people in suits standing behind a desk swearing under oath that their product is not addictive. And it's was completely bullshit. Like, and they knew it.
Yeah. Oh man.
So anyways, yes, similar. I think I mean, people have been making that analogy for a long time, right? That social media is the
Right.
new tobacco. I think who knows where this is going to go in the future, right? Like we may, I don't know. I think a more regulated social media is probably better for society, to be totally honest with you. And I don't know what that means, whether that's just an age gate or something like that. But um, it's definitely causing a lot of problems, in my opinion.
Yeah. I think an age gate is the first step. Like that is a great first step. Um, yeah, like give your kid a flip phone if they need a phone.
Totally.
That's
Those
it.
have come back in like it was hard at one point to find any company that would make flip phones, right? Like you couldn't buy one if you wanted one. Maybe I don't know how long ago, but a while back. Now it's so easy to find them. There's companies that are only making flip phones.
Hmm. Yeah, it's kind of come into more dialogue these days in our generation and even younger generations. Like, uh, my wife, as you know, works at a university, and she said that a lot of the younger students who are coming in have flip phones versus smartphones
Yeah,
because they're
set up.
exhausted,
Yeah,
right? Um, there's that company Brick where you can have that little physical thing by your front door and you can brick your phone and it turns off
totally.
all of the apps.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
we have a
There's
friend. Yeah, sorry.
sorry, no, go ahead. I was just gonna say, yeah, there's a research, there's like a growth in the market of products for people
Yeah,
that are just fed up, right? Like they don't want to don't want to be constantly online on social anymore.
yeah. Well, that's a good segue to like this next part. Like, it's people who are online constantly. And as yourself, you have kids. Like, what do you think about all of this? What you haven't stated already? Candid
Yeah, I mean,
remarks.
I think I've been pretty clear, like how I feel about it. Before this, my mentality was always that, like, there's no way I'm giving my kids a smartphone until they're 18. Might be too aggressive,
No, that's
but
fair.
old enough. I don't know what the guideline is. In my head, it was 18, past puberty at least. I just think like outside of the addictive nature of everything, it's like you're going through so much brain development happening. There's just so much happening with young kids that um, it's crazy to give them to have that level of access to social media. I mean, this kid was, what did he say?
6.
Yeah, 6 years old. Like, there's no way. But at the same time, like if you're if you have a product that you know is addictive and you're specifically trying to target teens, uh, you bear the responsibility.
Yeah. And if you have the research to back it up, like that's on
Yeah,
you.
totally,
So, but
totally.
I think where things get interesting, and this is fairly personal for both of us, like you you deleted Instagram, I deleted Reddit. I actually have 15-minute caps on most of my social media apps. Um,
Mm.
like this stuff isn't just affecting kids. Like
Oh, for
us as
sure.
adults,
Yeah,
you feel like we're also
100%.
falling into this trap. Yeah.
I think it's just generally addictive, like for everyone, in a negative way. I mean, obviously addiction is negative anyways, but I think that there's varying degrees of people's experiences on social. For me, it was like Instagram specifically. I was just kind of like tired of um being and engaging in this sort of like fake stories that everyone tells on social media. Um, and the problem is there's a lot of interesting stuff. So you you engage with it more and more throughout the day, and uh, you sort of make judgments based on what you see and how people are living and all that stuff, and it's just not real life. And so for me, it was just like tired of engaging in that system. And so, yeah, I mean, I deleted it a while back, maybe it's been a while now, maybe 6, 7 months, and I really don't miss it at all.
It's my
I don't,
same take on Reddit.
yeah, yeah, that's an interesting one too, because there's a lot more, I find that on Reddit, there's a lot more, um, you can engage in of particular interest that, is sort of masked as education, but ultimately, the way everything's written these days, it's like everything is sort of like a clickbait article. And so like
Yeah.
you're just getting hit with dopamine all the time, just engaging in stuff that you think is educational, but is really just distraction.
Yeah. Well, like nothing's sacred anymore. Like Reddit used to be good when it was much more of a scrappy platform, and then man, it turned. Like it is a product basically selling the exact same thing that
Only,
Meta is, Instagram is.
only.
Like it's all about engagement because there's like, have you tried advertising on Reddit? Like I'm seeing Reddit ads for businesses to advertise on Reddit now. Like
Oh yeah,
there's
totally.
also like whole go-to-market strategies around how to leverage Reddit. And some
Yeah,
people pick up on it immediately and just like shut the conversation down, but who knows what's out there?
I mean, it's interesting. I find I got to the point with Instagram where I was like, what is the point? Like,
Mhm.
what's the point? Why am I
Mm.
posting a photo? For what purpose?
I don't
So
know.
that like some random person can see what I'm doing in my life. Like it just stopped appealing to me, to be honest. Whereas
Yeah.
like platforms like Reddit, or I mean, I'm sure even LinkedIn has a bit of this too, but at least like there's engagement that you can have there that is beneficial. Like you can join the entrepreneur network on Reddit. You can learn things. I've met people, like one of our current business coaches. It was a conversation on Reddit, and it turned into a business relationship. So like there is a bit of a more of a purpose there. It's a bit more intentional in what you engage with, but I just found that with like Instagram, it was like,
Yeah.
why? Just jokes and people posting about their
Yeah.
lives. But having said all that, like the business needs to have some presence, and so I'm still sort of using it through like a planner and stuff like that because it's important to have business presence there. But using it as a consumer, I'm done.
Yeah. That's unfortunate.
Um,
It's a hellscape.
yeah. All
All
right. Well,
right. Well, you want to take us
that's
home?
a good place to end it. Yeah. So, if you're meta right now, Simon, what do you do?
uh, Settle ASAP, and just like move on, rectify the problem, throw on some age gates, stop trying to fight the issue. Like you've been caught, end of story. Move on, do some good, right? If you're meta, that's what I would
Yeah.
say.
I guess, you know, yeah, like if they settled with every single case, then it wouldn't go to court and there wouldn't be a bellwether verdict, right? So actually, we don't want them to settle. We want them to go to court.
No, that's true.
But,
I mean,
but
I think they thought they were gonna fight it with the whole like 230, and the jury just wasn't having it. So
yeah,
it's
totally, totally.
good,
It's super interesting.
yeah. But at this point, they just need to. They've lost. Like, move on. Like, start rectifying the issue, right? I can't even believe that they're appealing it. I don't even know why they would waste the money, but I think it's because they're so concerned about what other skeletons they might have in their closet.
Yeah,
Um,
probably.
could be why they're appealing it.
I can't believe they were announcing an account feature. Like it's just getting worse and worse.
Yeah.
um, yeah, I mean that's pretty much it. Like it's going to be interesting to see what happens in the future. Hopefully there's more of these cases, and I'm going to kind of follow it and continue talking about it because I think it's super relevant. I think like the discussion around the use case of design is also very interesting. Yeah, it's just sort of sad that there's a Zion has been purposely used in this way, to be honest.
It is. Yeah. I think that's the piece I've been really paying attention to these days is like, wow, design can be used for dark things. It's not all
Oh,
like
yeah.
looking at positive outcomes and impact driven design. It's like, no, there's a design team out there that is part of the seedy underbelly of addiction. And we found them and they're getting
Totally.
sued.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
uh, stay safe out there.
Mhm. That's it. If you are interested in following, subscribe, please. Okay. Bye.
See ya.